It is a big week for Elon Musk, with the CEO going head-to-head with the SEC. This as investors await Tesla's delivery numbers expected any time now. Phil LeBeau is live in Chicago. Hey, Phil.
Hi, Melissa. And, when we're waiting for those delivery numbers, it's important to point out that really what the market is focused on is Model 3. The overall number, I think people will expect basically 20,000 deliveries combined between the Model S and X. But what happens with Model 3 deliveries? And we're showing you here how it has grown quarter over quarter over the last 5 quarters. Now, nobody expects them to hit 63,000 again for the first quarter. The estimate is basically going to be closer to 55, 56,000. If it's in that area, I think we might see a bit of a relief rally for shares of Tesla, which, by the way, take a look at those shares. They have come back a little bit from where they were, just a few days ago when they were down in that 265 to 268 range. And don't forget, as you mentioned at the top, this is a big week for Tesla and for CEO Elon Musk. Remember, his attorneys will be in court on Thursday in New York, battling it out with the attorneys for the SEC. Remember, the SEC wants Elon Musk to be held in contempt of court for his use of social media, specifically what he has tweeted out since he signed that SEC agreement that he would have all of his social media communications monitored and approved by somebody within the company. So over the next 3 days will tell us a lot in terms of what happens for Tesla. I'm not sure the judge is going to rule right away, but we're in sort of one of those critical periods where people want to get a better sense of not only what's happening with production and deliveries, but also with Elon Musk and his leadership there.
Right. And again, with the delivery numbers, Phil, technically the company does it 3 business days, I believe, from the end of the quarter. So basically it's got to happen sometime between now and tomorrow.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, technically, could they wait until after the bell tomorrow? Yeah, they could. Typically we see it on the second day after the end of the previous quarter. So that's why a lot of us have been expecting that it might be sometime today.
All right. Phil, thanks. Phil LeBeau.
You bet.
In Chicago. All right. So, Tesla puts up these numbers. Let's say Tesla hits 55 or 56 Model 3s. Do we really care what the court says on Friday?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I'm not saying I know what Tim is going to say, but he's going to say, is it about deliveries? And he's probably right. It probably isn't about deliveries anymore.
Oh, it's a car company now?
See? I mean, that. But let's just play the game out. And to your point, since December, when this was a $375 stock, it has made a series of lower lows and lower highs, culminating with the low we recently saw, which happens to be the same low we saw in October. I mentioned that because after making tremendous double tops at 375, there's a very good chance we just put in a double bottom. Now, I'm not saying you got to race out and buy it now, but there's a very good chance that the bottom was put in the same low we had in October. So I don't know if it matters at this point, but this stock has been in a very defined trading range now for the last couple of years, and you're probably at the lower end.
So you just said a very good chance. If you look at that series of lower lows since 375, there's actually a far better chance that it fails right here, Guy, and retests the levels it was back there. But you were just saying, like, a very good chance. There's also a very listen, at 260, it was a bad press. We all talked about it on the desk, because we know we had to wait for this news, and we don't know what the story is with the Musk thing. I think it's all about deliveries. I think if they disappoint there, you're going to be on your way back to 260. But again, is it a bad press there on the short side? I just don't know. But it's probably not a great idea to buy it for a breakout right here when the news is not likely to get better soon.
Okay, so reiterating my view, I'm not sure that the share price means anything because I don't think the share price reflects the cash position of the company. I don't think it reflects really fundamentals of the company. So just to be clear, but I do think that actually you could see a little bit of a pop in the stock. I actually think that the next move could be a bit higher. And so if you want to be tactical on this, I actually think there could be, I don't know anything. There could be some news on the SEC. I think there could be some general positive stuff on deliveries. Then I think there's nothing left. I mean, frankly, I would be waiting for the Q1, which comes out somewhere in the middle of May, and that's going to tell you how bad this balance sheet looks in the first quarter. To me, this is really more of a lack of demand story. I know we've presumed there to be a ton of demand, but we know free cash flow is a very big issue in the first quarter. We know that they've cut capex. We know that there's all kinds of things. What have they cut? What have they put back in? Bottom line, it's a company that's scrambling to make cash payments. That's undeniable.
Yeah, that's the part that I really focus on, the scrambling to make cash payments. And you have, I was so amazed by the 10K where they talked about the retail, right, their retail stores and how important that was. 10 days later, not so important anymore. That's a very big change. And then a few days after that, you know what? It's sort of important. So we're going to have some. I mean, that would make me uncomfortable as a long-term holder about you know, just sort of they're scrambling around and what is the long-term plan, and they just seem to be only be able to focus on fires right now.